Well, hello there, This is Mr. Gibson guy here. Thanks for dropping by the channel today. Today I'm doing a new video for you. We're looking at vintage wide-angle lenses, and we're going to be doing a test in this video to see what the use of the wide-angle is and how different ones show, how much angle of view they have. So we're going to start out with this vintage wide-angle lenses. This is the what should you do and what should be avoided. Number one here of things you should do. Wide angles are great for landscapes. You can get more into your picture, but on the other hand, everything in the picture is going to look small and distant. The wide-angle lenses are especially good for sunsets. They can be great if you have a few clouds in the sky, but not total cloud coverage, of course, but that way you can present very dramatic colors if you have a few clouds to bounce those colors off at sunset. However, if the disk of the sun appears in the picture taken with a wide-angle lens, the sun itself is going to appear small and insignificant. So you can get things both ways. But let's look at what things are kind of questionable about using a wide-angle lens. If you want to precipitate a big fight with your wife or your girlfriend, try taking a portrait of her close up using a wide-angle lens. Oh, and what's wrong with that? Well, what a wide angle does is magnify the part of her face that's closest to the lens, which is usually going to be the nose. But then her other features are going to be more distant from the lens, are made smaller and insignificant. The final result is a very distorted image of her face that she will certainly find unflattering, to say the least. You won't do these very often because she's going to take your camera away if she sees them again. So be careful with what we do with the wide-angle lenses. It has its advantages and it has weaknesses as well, as we have seen. But what about a definition for what am I talking about in these? Obviously, we've got some lens here, but there's some lenses that aren't here. That's because a real wide-angle lens would be something that goes from a focal length of below 40 millimeters down to a shortest length of 24 millimeters. Those would be considered wide angles. Lenses in the 20 millimeter, 19, 18, 17 millimeter range are very specialized super wides that are expensive and for very specialized purposes. Not many people out there are going to need a 20 or a 19 or 18 millimeter lens. And if you do, what are you going to do with it? It is very specialized in its use, and it's going to cost you a bundle. Mostly photographers can stick with what they do with regular wide angles, the 24 to 35, and we're going to see that's going to cover a lot of ground for us. But let's continue on here. 16 millimeters and below are classified as fisheye lenses. That's a different story for a different video, and a lens which you can use that will take the most amazing picture you ever got, but only one time, and after that everything is going to be the very same thing. So if you want to spend $300 or $400 for one picture that's going to be great and everything else is going to look like the same picture, then try the fisheye lens, but that's not our subject today. Okay, so here we have a selection of vintage wides from Olympus, Canon, Nikon, and Yashica contacts. There's a couple of Olympuses there in the front row, and see one of them's missing. these are not the wide angles that we're looking for, because we put the wide angles all on Olympus cameras here. We have a 50, then a 35, behind that a 28, and in the back, that little OM2, OM1 back there has a 24. And then we have the contacts. We're going to visit with that just a little bit too. But let me set this up for what's coming, because we have to move the camera. And line it up again. Here we go. Right here. How about there? No? Alright, trying to get guitars as our unit of measure and get this centered on the screen. Now, we're going to compare the angle of view as seen through the viewfinder. We will apply the unit of electric guitars as our distance and as our distance of measurement, and our distance across the room is about 13 feet. So we're going to take a look here. First, we're going to see how this comes out looking through the standard 50 millimeter. And here it is. Oh, there we go. Gotta get it to just the right place. And you can see we got some cutoff there. Can't fit everything in with a 50 millimeter because it's too close. You can see the guitars are a little bit smaller in here, but pretty close. Now, that's with a normal 50 millimeter lens. We're going to step down to 35 millimeter, our longest wide angle. Let's see. Oh yeah, you can see these guitars. You can see more of them, and they got smaller because the wide angle makes them further away. But you can see all the guitars there. That's the 35 millimeter. Then go step down to the 28 millimeter. 28 millimeter. Where'd they go? There they are. It's focusing. Okay. So they got smaller. You can see off more to the sides. You can see the amplifiers over to the right. And then the door is on the left. But, well, see, that made it much smaller and more distant, so it gets more into the picture. And that's the 28 millimeter popular wide angle lens. And then finally we'll go to our ultimate for regular wide angles, which is the 24. Let me see if I can bring this up from below. Oop. And we can see a great deal of the picture. We're up on the roof, and you can see the ceiling. You can see past the amplifiers. The guitars are all real small. Remember that? That's what it's doing to them. This is the 24 millimeter. So this is our widest. Now I have the contact camera out here too, because contacts plays to a little bit different drummer, and that is they don't do a 24 millimeter, they do a 25 millimeter, 1 millimeter longer. So it's kind of their equivalent of a 24, but they don't make a 24. And there you see, I think that's a lot more plain than the 24 was. I can see everything here, so the camera could see it to focus. Let me go back to the 24 again. That's the 25, and this is the 24. Yeah, it looks more distant. That's 1 millimeter difference, but seems to make some changes in the whole image. I'm trying to get that vignetting out of there. There. So that's 24 millimeter. One more time. 25 millimeter. Oh yeah. I can see it all coming in focus much better than that. Now, I don't know. I think the viewfinder on this Contax camera is a little bit less angle of view than the OM cameras, the OM1s and OM2s that I just used for those cameras. But that gives us a better idea of just how much angle we can get with these. I'll finish up here, hanging on. So that's good if you want to take pictures of guitars on the other side of your bedroom. But are there other uses? Yes, actually, I find that the best use of a wide angle, any of these focal lengths, is very close up at maximum aperture, taking advantage of the shallow depth of field to obscure the background in a colorful locale like a flower garden. Because if you do that, you can take advantage of the shallow depth of field, and you can get one part of a bush or a flower in perfect focus, and another one just a few inches behind it will be a total blur. Because if you go to extreme close-up that you can get with a wide-angle lens, then you can get really close in focusing and have a very shallow depth of field and obscure everything else in your picture. It's a great way to mess with the colors and what you see, and things that you can do with a camera that you couldn't see with the naked eye. But that's our look at the wide-angle lens. So if you found this informative or helpful, drop me a line, give us a like, and drop by subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet. Thank you for coming by the channel, and until the next one, this is Mr. Gibson Guy, and I'm out of here.